Hello there. Leeds United travel to Nottingham Forest this weekend in a late kick-off at the City Ground. You'll be able to hear the match on BBC Radio Leeds West Yorkshire Sport. Exclusive FM commentary on 92.4 FM with myself, Katherine, with former Leeds striker Noel Whelan and our Leeds United commentator Adam Pope, who's here with me now looking ahead to the game. You've been to see Neil Redfern today and his new assistant, which we'll get onto in a moment. Injury news first of all then. There was some doubt over Belushi, Austin, Warnock. What's the latest?
Well, Belushi and Austin, he's not ruling out yet. Austin did take part in training today. He's got an ankle issue. Belushi, I really think he won't risk him. Hamstring. He repeated that mantra that if you get this wrong, he's going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks. So I'll be surprised if he certainly played. I think there's a bit of him that wants Austin to be ready to play because he's a ball carrier and they need a bit more robustness, don't they, in the midfield. As for Stephen Warnock, I don't think there's an issue. I think the games have caught up with him. 10:33 last week. But I think he's desperate to have him ready and he's trained all week. AD White, I did bump into just separately. That boot's back on us and that big sort of protector with the metatarsal is a real problem. I think we'll be lucky to see him, having spoken to him at all this season.
Oh, that's a shame then, because it seemed that he was maybe on the road to recovery, but it looks like maybe back to square one with that.
It is really. I think the boot would come off. I think when they played the Bradford game, he was behind us in the stands at Valley Parade, and I think he's tried to run on it, and it's got hurt again. So it could be a while. Hopefully, for his sake, he'll back into it before then, but I think you've got to sort of rule him out, certainly for the foreseeable. OK,
so one or two injury things to contend with. Neil Redfern did intimate after the Fulham defeat that he was looking to make changes after the defeat to Fulham. So what might he do?
Well, he's certainly talking about the whole idea of the squad mentality and resting a few players. And he is talking about a system change too. So will we see him go to like a traditional 4-4-2, I wonder? So I think there's going to be a mixture of both. How he's going to play, I don't know. But clearly now he's got a sounding board in Steve Thompson. He's a look over the squad today. They'll come up with some system. Hopefully that'll be able to sort of firstly keep Forest at bay and get something out of the game. It's not a problem getting the lead in these games. It's holding on to it. So, but he was quite big on the idea of maybe having to rest some players.
Maybe one of the ones, a lot of the talk is about whether Dukara might drop to the bench. Billy Sharp, who came on and made a fair impact against Fulham, could he be one of the ones that maybe gets his chance?
Well, I think that would be a fairly obvious thing to do, because I thought Sharp although this quite happened for him, but I think he has looked busy and lively in the last couple of times he's come on, and Dukara's faded recently for me. Midfield, what will he do? Will he go for some real experience? But to be honest, they're not playing that badly, are they? But Adrian, can you afford to play that? You've got to say he's sort of 70-75% there at the moment. How much is he affecting the opposition penalty area?
He came so close to getting his goal, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
I don't think he'll do that again. I think he'll throw everything at it next time he gets his chance. But
I think so. So I'd expect to see a bit of a sturdier midfield, certainly, for going into this game.
You mentioned Steve Thompson, a new addition to the Leeds United family, finally, after weeks of procrastination. That deal was done this week. So Neil Redfern finally has his man. First choice. We understand that Steve Thompson, leaving Huddersfield Town, is now going to be his assistant coach. What sort of impact might he actually make, other than just being a good sounding board for Neil Redfern? Yeah,
I think he talked about, look, I can take some of the pressure off Neil too. And I asked him about his strengths. And I think what he's firstly going to do is get amongst the players and get to them individually. But it's about coming up with a system that suits players. And I think he's going to be integral in devising, if you like, a new way of playing for certain occasions. And that might well be this weekend. So I think that'll be his immediate impact there. But for Neil, having someone to, you could see there was an element of relief about it, but also the body language between the two, the mates as well.
The friends,
aren't they? You can tell. So I think it's a very good image. And straight away, you could see that there was a burden being shared there. But I tell you, he's delighted to be at Leeds United.
Yeah, listening to him talk, you just get that great enthusiasm, an opportunity that was too good to turn down. Although on paper, you look at it and think, OK, have you left a relatively safe job at Huddersfield to come to what can be an unpredictable club at Leeds United? But he just said, it was a risk that was absolutely worth taking for him. And he talks so passionately about the club and the potential that's there. It rubs off on you when you listen to him.
It does. And he's got a similar deal to Neil, I think, to the end of the season, and with the option of another year afterwards. As you said, Katherine, it's not a risk to him at all. He really enjoyed his time at Huddersfield, short as it was. No issues there. He said they wanted him to stay, so it's a big step clearly to make. But you remember, this guy has taken Blackpool into the Premier League with Ian Holloway. He's actually managed for a period of time. Very, very experienced player. Played at Bolton with Redfern, and later on at Halifax Town too. But the fact that he's been in this division and helped bring a team out, I think, is a major, major plus. And I think he's got that mentality about we're ballers. He wants them to play. I think him and Redfern see it in the same way.
And if you do want to listen to that full interview with Steve Thompson, you can find that via Audio Boom. Find the Audio Boom website, do a search for West Yorkshire Sport, or we've made it available via Twitter as well at WYS Daily. So if you want to listen to that to your heart's content, you can. Quick word on transfers as well. We are heading towards the January transfer window. It's not going to be that straightforward because of the restrictions imposed on Leeds by the Football League. But speaking to Neil Redfern, they still seem to be quite confident of doing some business in one form or another.
Well, the regulations, even with an embargo, the way that Leeds are at the moment and their squad makeup, is that there are 4 spots available right as we stand right now. And the one big one is the striker, Leonardo Pavoletti, who's at Sassuolo and scored his first goal for them against Palermo at the weekend. He's been linked before. Nicola Salerno, the sport director, has talked very openly about how much they would like him. His wages wouldn't be an issue. And a big striker and a strong striker, he could well beat. Neil Redfern admitted, look, he could just turn up in January, for all I know. And he's happy with that. Championship experienced players, he's mentioned targets to Massimo Cellino. They've talked about them. For me, a couple of midfielders. I'd love to see a centre-back as well, just to help give some competition there. And I think, having spoken to Neil, they're probably the areas he's spoken to Massimo about.
Excellent stuff. That's all very much in the pipeline. For now, though, the immediate priority is Leeds United picking up some points away at Nottingham Forest. So join us if you can. Just before 5 o'clock, West Yorkshire Sport, BBC Radio Leeds will bring you full commentary, exclusive FM commentary on 92.4 FM. Leeds United away at Nottingham Forest, live from the City Ground, with myself, Katherine Hanna, from Adam Pope, from Noel Whelan as well. And this is going to be our final preview before Christmas. So we wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas from all of us at West Yorkshire Sport. Have a good one.
Happy Christmas.